Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Today is July 5th. We're talking about the June Players of the Month, as well as the All-Star starters have been selected. Let's do it. Hello, everybody. My name is Steven. This is the middle of the order. How are we doing today, ladies and gentlemen? It is a Friday, and that means we've got some baseball today to talk about. We got a bit of a lengthier episode, some things to be talking about, including those players of the month. So we're going to dive into that first and foremost. So if you are new here, and you like what you hear, and you're a big fan of baseball, please feel free to subscribe. Helps me out a ton. Lets me know that, people love baseball, and that's a big part of the world. I feel like baseball is one of those top sports, and I just love it so much. Love showing it off and love being able to talk about it. So, thank you everybody so much for all the support on the last couple of episodes, a couple of bigger ones in the past 10 or so. So feeling the love recently a little bit, so I've been having a good time, even with the shortened series recaps. I feel like those have been going pretty well as well. So thank you for all of that. And with that being said, let's start by diving on into my choices for the AL Players of the Month. Going over here, we're just gonna, do it as we've done it, just to keep things short, sweet. Just gonna go through a couple of the stats there and jam through these. So for AL catcher, we have Logan O'Hoppe from your Los Angeles Angels, a .324 batting average, 5 home runs, 12 RBIs, and a .971 OPS. A really strong month from O'Hoppe. Angels have looked okay recently, I guess. Karen Pillar being Kevin Pillar for the Angels, the new Mike Trout kind of, with him being hurt. So, good to see O'Hoppe here. One of my favorite catchers. Love Logan O'Hoppe. So good for him. Moving on, first baseman Vladimir Guerrero Jr. from your Blue Jays, a .318 average, 8 home runs, 25 RBIs, and a .961 OPS. Vlad's been hot. Springer's been hot, but the Jays still aren't finding those wins. So tough stuff there. Could he potentially be traded at the deadline? AL second baseman Jose Altuve, .333 average, 4 home runs, 17 RBIs, and an .886 OPS. We'll have a theme here with some of these guys here later on when we talk about the All-Star starters. Altuve's been great. The Astros have turned it on tremendously, and they're back into the thick of things. So we can only assume those numbers will continue to grow for Altuve and those Astros. That could be on this list later on. Third baseman, it's going to be Rafael Devers from the Red Sox. They have now been inserted into a wild card position for the first time this season. They currently hold the 3rd seed over the Royals. Devers been a huge part of that this month. 300 average, 8 home runs, 19 RBIs, and a .015 OPS. Can their luck continue as things go along? Gunnar Henderson is your AL Player of the Month for shortstop. A .342 average for him, 8 home runs, 17 RBIs, a .081 OPS. He has been on fire in his sophomore season, continues to be a star. Outfielder, of course, we have Aaron Judge here because, of course, we do. 409 average, 11 home runs, 37 RBIs in a single month, and a .378 OPS. Absolute on fire. Judge, if stays healthy, is looking to secure another MVP in the bag for him. And of course, joining him is his Yankee outfielder duo, Juan Soto. A .275 average, 5 home runs, 12 RBIs, and a .036 OPS for him. But included with the outfielders with those two Yankees is a Red Sox. Jarren Duran had a very strong month of June, and a big part in that Red Sox organization right now. .364 average, 6 home runs, 16 RBIs, and a .056 OPS. A phenomenal month for Duran as he takes Players of the Month honors here as well for me. Starting pitchers. I'll be honest, the starting pitcher was a little bit harder to find. Got to do a little bit of digging. Had to make a tougher choice here, I feel like. But then MLB released theirs, and then I realized that my choice wasn't that tough at all. Garrett Crochet from your Chicago White Sox. Don't look at the record too much because it's 1-1 in the month, but of course he's on that White Sox team. I'm sure every start he gives them a chance to win a ball game. How much do they do? Very rarely. Hit a 1.91 ERA and struck out 56 batters. He probably pitched like 30 something innings, so he was on it this month in terms of striking out batters. And when we get to the stat leaderboard, he might be the new strikeout leader on the year. For the rookie of the month for the AL, we're going with the Wyatt Langford, as he's kind of taken off this month and potentially, you know, he was supposed to be one of those guys that was like a favorite to win the AL Rookie of the Year, and he really hadn't, you know, been there for April and May. Like, he'd been playing okay, but nothing too fantastic. A 309 average for him, 3 home runs, 22 RBIs, and an 894 OPS. He has been phenomenal this month, and if he can keep it up, potentially a Rookie of the Year in his future. And the last one, special / DH, we've gone the DH route for Yordan Alvarez of your Astros. They're hot, 349 average for him, 7 home runs, 19 RBIs, and a 1.139 OPS. You think without Kyle Tucker, the Astros wouldn't have been there, but Altuve's been good, Bregman's been better, Alvarez has been good. When your stars have been shining, your backup players and your other guys like Chas McCormick, Jake Myers, Jeremy Pena, those guys take it up a notch as well. So the Astros right now in cruise control. That is your AL Players of the Month. As we now flip it on over to the NL Players of the Month here, and we will start things off with a catcher, which I have to be honest is the lowest. I had to go digging for this NL catcher. I guess the NL catchers had a really poor month of June overall. The best catcher I found in terms of my, lookings was Will Smith from the Dodgers. Of course, that's a catcher we all know. It's a good catcher overall. But his month wasn't anything special. A 203 average, 2 home runs, 14 RBIs, and a 642 OPS. I mean, we got Judge over here at 1.3 and Will Smith's at 0.6. So near double. Judge is doubled what Will Smith did. The lowest player of the month by position is NL catcher. There's always going to be one of them. This time it's Will Smith as the NL catcher of the month. But right after him, it's been a really strong month once again for Bryce Harper, who is NL first baseman of the month here. A 374 average, 7 home runs, 16 RBIs, and a 1.166 OPS. He has been phenomenal. Of course, he is now hurt a little bit. He's been on the IL recently. So we'll see how that affects him in terms of, the month of July, how it affects him for the All-Star, how it affects him for the MVP potentially. So hopefully Harper can come back soon and be healthy and be on that tear that he's been on the last 2 months here. Second baseman, Ketel Marte from your Diamondbacks. 341 average, 7 home runs, 20 RBIs, and a 1.068 OPS. A lot of one-dotters coming up here for the NL side here. Marte's been strong. The Diamondbacks have been looking a little bit better as of late. Their chemistry is starting to click a little bit more, it feels like, and their pitching with Zach Gallen back is taking a step up in the right direction. So what can they do against some of the teams in their way, like the Mets and Cardinals? Will they end up in a playoff spot and making a crazy run like they did last year? Who knows? But Ketel Marte's been right, and he has been phenomenal, so keep it up, Marte. Third baseman, Austin Riley from your Braves. First time we've seen him all year, I think. 289 average, 6 home runs, 13 RBIs, and a 909 OPS here. The Braves, obviously, not the team that we thought they were going to be. Still a good team, but the Phillies have been an upper notch better, and we're over the hump here in the halfway point of the season, so the Braves need to start clicking things need to start going their way, or they're going to be fighting in a wild card game, I feel like, and that will be interesting to see from Atlanta's point of view. They've never had to worry about something like that. So, something to keep your eyes and ears out for. But you know what? A team to keep your eyes and ears out for, potentially, your Washington Nationals. They've made some moves this past week, and CJ Abrams is your NL shortstop of the month here. A 373 average, 4 home runs, 16 RBIs, and a 1.127 OPS. I mean, the Nats could be sneaky good. They've had some sneaky starting pitchers that kind of have taken a step forward here. That NL wild card is really going to be a bloodbath here, and there's nothing right now that's suggesting the Nats can't win it. There's just some other teams in their way that maybe are better. So what are the Nationals going to do as the trade deadline looms? Are they going to sell? Are they going to buy? What's the story here? But CJ Abrams definitely had a great month and deserves all of his flowers here. As we look now to the NL outfielders, one guy we've seen here before, Fernando Tatis Jr., a 365 average, 5 home runs, 7 RBIs, and a 1.062 OPS. Joining him is Brandon Nimmo from your New York Mets, 315 average, 6 home runs, 21 RBIs, a 1.004 OPS. And lastly, Brian Reynolds from your Pirates, the hitting streak of a god, 330 average, 6 home runs, 16 RBIs, and a 992 OPS for him. Those three are your NL outfielders of the month. As we look to starting pitcher, it is Christopher Sanchez from your Philadelphia Phillies. He has been phenomenal with the Phillies alongside guys like Wheeler and Ranger Suarez, and even their technical ace, Aaron Nola. His month, he used 3-0 in it, a 1.64 ERA, and 23 strikeouts. So a better ERA and a better record than Crochet, but not nearly as many strikeouts as he put up, but still a very strong month for Christopher Sanchez and the Phillies as a whole as they continue a phenomenal season. For the rookie of the month in the NL, Jackson Merrill of your Padres took a huge step forward. 320 average, 9 home runs, 20 RBIs, and a 996 OPS. They like this kid a lot in spring training coming out of the gate. He had some nice, some fun games in the Tokyo series to start the season off. Got to play in the first 2 games of the season. And then from there, he was quietly just kind of doing his thing, a little defensive specialist, couple hits here and there. This month has been a absolute role reverse of what we've seen from Jackson so far. And right now, he's kind of in the running of your NL Rookie of the Year. I feel like that's a fun talk to have between guys like Paul Skeens, Shota Imanaga. If he can kind of fix up like he had in April and May, he's been getting hit around a little bit more recently. Jackson Chourio, he's been nothing too spectacular, but he's still in the mix. Now Jackson Merrill as well. It's been a very fun watch for the NL side of things, so these new players here, so definitely a strong month for Merrill. Let's see him keep it up in July and help his Padres hold on to that 5 seed right now in the wild card. But yeah, things to keep an eye out for. And lastly, for the NL side, it is the special /DH. Again, going the DH route because obviously it has to be Shohei Ohtani. A 293 average, 12 home runs, 24 RBIs, and a 1.110 OPS for Ohtani. And that makes up your NL Players of the Month. As the last bit of baseball Players of the Month to look at is what MLB has decided is the best course of action going forward for them here. Taking a look at what MLB has for their Players of the Month. Starting off with the AL, it is going to be Aaron Judge once again. The 1.378 OPS, the 409 average, the 11 home runs, the 37 RBIs. Take your pick. He's been absolutely phenomenal. And then for your NL Player of the Month, Bryce Harper again. Deja vu, a 1.166 OPS, 374 average, 7 home runs, 17 extra base hits combined, 16 RBIs. The two of them, Judge and Harper, they make MLB history. The first time both players are back-to-back for Players of the Month in baseball. Last month, for the month of May, it was Aaron Judge in the AL and Bryce Harper in the NL. This month, for the June, it is Judge and Harper once again. The first time ever that both players in both leagues are back-to-back Players of the Month. So, big ups to these guys. They're currently making their runs for MVP. Of course, we mentioned Harper needs to get healthy first, but Judge, if he can stay healthy without Ohtani in the AL anymore, it's starting to look clear that Aaron Judge might have another MVP in his trophy case to show for. MLB Pitcher of the Month is going to go to Garrett Crochet for the AL and Christopher Sanchez for the NL. We've mentioned that already. The 1-1 record, the 1.5, the 56 strikeouts, and the 1.91 ERA for Crochet. The 3-0 record, the 23 strikeouts, and the 1.64 ERA for Christopher Sanchez. Both guys very deserving. One on a fantastic team, one of the best teams. One on a very poor team, one of the worst teams. So very different between the two there. Rookies of the Month for AL and NL. We mentioned both of them in my picks. Wyatt Langford, Jackson Merrill. Langford, the 309 average, 894 OPS, 12 extra base hits, 22 RBIs, 6 stolen bases for Wyatt Langford. Help out Texas, man. Texas needs to get going. Jackson Merrill, the 320 average, the 996 OPS, the 9 home runs, the 20 RBIs. Very star-studded too there. And lastly here, MLB's relievers of the month for AL. It's going to be Carlos Estevez from your Los Angeles Angels. He pitched 10 innings and didn't give up a single run, a 0 ERA. He also struck out 10 batters and recorded 8 saves for the Angels this month. For the NL side, it is Ryan Helsley from your Cardinals, who pitched in 13 innings, had a 2.77 ERA, struck out 21 batters in those 13 innings, and recorded 12 saves for the Cardinals. So both these guys having strong months of June, and that is what MLB had for their players of the month. As we wrap up that part of the episode here to get things going. So yeah, that is the June Players of the Month, my picks, MLB's picks, all of that fun and good stuff there. And yeah, for now, let's dive on into our series recap. All right, leading us off, the Reds are in New York to take on the Yankees, and they brought some power with them. And the Yankees, they've been struggling because they fall all 3 games here to the Reds. The Reds take it 5-4 in the first game, 3-2 in the second game, and then 8-4 in the third game. The Yankees haven't won a series in 6 straight now, and they're slumping hard as a team. They had some pretty weird and costly mistakes and goofs that shouldn't have been happening. Reds sweep the Yankees, a big series for them. Astros and Blue Jays would play for. It would start on Canada Day, but the Astros would take that away from Blue Jays. They win it 3-1. The Jays, though, bounce back for Game 2, taking that one to 7-6. But then from there, it is all Houston. They win it 9-2 in Game 3, and then 5-3 in Game 4. That was American Day yesterday, July 4th. So the Astros get a win there. The Jays slowly fading away as the Astros take 3 of 4 against them in the series to start the month of July. Rays and Royals, a very simple series here. Nothing too drastic going on. It's a sandwich series. The Rays take Game 1 5-1. Royals bounce back, win it 4-2, but then Tampa gets the edge over Kansas City, wins the last game 10-8, and would take 2 of 3 over the Royals. Does Tampa. Tigers and Twins here, 5-3 Twins in the first game. They jump out with that. Then the Tigers bounce back 9-2. The Minnesota Twins prospect Brooks Lee, he debuted in this game, and he got 2 hits and an RBI. His first major league hit, first major league RBI, so good for him. And that would lead into some Twin success as they take the road match. They score big against Tigers, winning that one 12-3 as they take 2 of 3 from Detroit there. White Sox and Guardians. The Guardians sit atop, and they sit with a walk-off win in Game 1, 7-6. Bo Naylor, a sac fly, walks it off. The Guardians take that. White Sox would bounce back, though. They take the second game 8-2, but then the Guardians respond and win it 8-4 and take 2 of 3 from the White Sox. Padres and Rangers, and what a game for Nathaniel Lau. He hits 2 home runs in the first game, leading to a 7-0 Rangers win, but the Padres bounce back in games 2 and 3. They take it 6-4 for game 2, and then 3-1 to win the road match. Padres take 2 of 3 from the Texas Rangers. As we now head to the O's and the Mariners. in a series that belonged to Baltimore at the start. They take the first game 2-0 and then win the second game 4-1. Seattle, though, would bounce back. Julio would hit a home run in game 3 as the Mariners win that one by a score of 7-3 on July 4th. Angels and A's now, and this one was a series for Oakland. Surprise, surprise. They take the first game 7-5. Game 2, it's a 5-0 win as Joey Estes, I was going to pronounce that, I was going to look it up, I forgot. Joey Estes, a complete game shutout for him. And then Pilar in game 3 robs JJ Bleday twice, robs him of a home run and then a sliding diving catch. Oakland wins that one 5-0 as well, and they sweep the Angels, take 3 at home from them. So good stuff there for Oakland. Red Sox in Miami taking on the Marlins, and it was all Boston in this one. 8-3 in game 1, 7-2 in game 2, 6-5 in game 3. They both scored that game 3, went into extras. Both teams scored 2 runs in the 11th. The Red Sox, though, they scored 2 more in the 12th to the Marlins 1. That was a crazy extra innings game. Red Sox, though, sweep the series in Miami. Big ups them, and they now have that third wild card as mentioned. So good for Boston right now. Mets and Nationals would play for game 1. Would be crazy here. The Mets, we would go to extras with they score 6 runs in the 10th. The Nats only bounced back with 4. This was James Wood's debut game for him as the Nats called him up. He got his first hit in his first at-bat, so good for him, but the Mets win this one in extras 9-7. They would also win the second game 7-2, but then the Nationals would bounce back in the last 2 games, win it 7-5 and 1-0 as the Mets and Nats split the 4-game set 2 apiece. So good stuff there for the Nationals to salvage that series as well as they did. So yeah, golf claps around. Giants and Braves, and this is when you kind of start to think things are sliding off the rails for Atlanta a bit. Giants take the first game 5-3. Braves bounce back with a great start from Chris Sale to make a 3-1 win for them. Rubber match, though, falls San Francisco's way to score 4-2. The Giants take 2 of 3 from the Braves, and if you're the Braves, you can't be losing series like that, so they got to wake the F up ASAP. Come on, Atlanta, I believe in you guys. Phillies and Cubs here. Trey Turner, 2 home runs in the first game. The second one actually left Wrigley Field as the Phillies beat the Cubs 6-4. They would also beat them once again 5-3. But on July 4th, it was Ian Happ with 2 3-run home runs, one from the right side of the plate and one from the left side, as the switch-hitting outfielder helped the Cubs avoid the sweep. They win that last game 10-2. Cardinals and Pirates now. Cardinals take the first game 7-4. Game 2, though, it's O'Neal Cruz who walks it off in the 10th for the Pirates as they even up the series 5-4. Final game, there were a match on July 4th. That one would end up in extras in the 10th. The Cardinals score a run, hold the Pirates. They win that one 3-2, and the Cardinals take 2 of 3 from Pittsburgh in Pittsburgh, and are looking pretty good right about now. Brewers and Rockies would play a 4-game set. The first game would be the highlight for the Rockies here. They walk it off in the 10th inning. A Jake Cave single wins it for the Rockies. They take that first game 8-7. Brewers, though, bounce back with 2 games. They win it 4-3 and then 3-0 as they shut out the Rockies. But the Rockies don't go away quietly, and they would win on July 4th by a score of 4-3 to even up the series. Brewers and Rockies split the 4-game set 2 apiece there. If you're Rockies, you love that. If you're the Brewers, you wish you got one more at least. So differences there. And last one here, D-backs and Dodgers. What a series this turned out to be. 6-5 Dodgers in the first game. Teoscar Hernandez wins it with a walk-off single. Then in games 2 and 3, we got treated to Christian Walker. 2-homer day in game 2. That led to a 14-4 D-backs win. Plenty of other Arizona Diamondbacks hit home runs. And then on July 4th, game 3, Christian Walker hit another 2 home runs. 5 home runs total in the series because he had one in the opener. D-backs won that one at 9-3, and they take 2 of 3 from the Dodgers. Very shocked there, very surprised. That helps the Padres out, who took 2 of 3 from the Rangers. But yeah, Arizona doing it against the Dodgers. We saw that in the wild card last season as well. And that is our series recap. And did I say wildcard series? I meant division series last year. Anyway, besides the point, game of the week here. We're heading to Monday. The Mets and the Nationals, the first of 4. And this one got a little wild in the late stages of things. Nationals, though, scored 2 in the bottom of the 3rd. A Harold Ramirez single and then a Joey Meneses single put them up 2-0. Mets answer in the 6th finally. 3 runs come aboard. Mark Vientos, a single, scores 1. And then Francisco Alvarez, a 2-run double, puts the Mets in the lead. That took us all the way to the bottom of the 8th, where Joey Meneses doing it again. An RBI double ties the game up 3-3 as we head to extras. In the 10th, JD Martinez hits a 3-run go-ahead home run, his 10th of the year, to make it 6-3 Mets. Then Francisco Alvarez, how about a triple? His first triple on the season, probably the first of his career. That scores another run to make it 7-3. And then Jose Iglesias, Mr. Oh my God, the musician, hits home run number 1, big part of the big turnaround the Mets have had. A 2-run shot makes it 9-3 Mets. And that 2-run shot proved important because we head to the bottom of the 10th, where the Nats would get going. A Jesse Winker double makes it 9-4. A Vargas double makes it 9-6. 2-run score on that double. And then Keibert Ruiz, he singles in 1 more run to make it 9-7. Those 2 runs from Mr. Jose Iglesias, the difference in this one. The Mets win it 9-7, hold off the Nats in extras. What a game and what an extra inning that 10th one turned out to be. Mets on a roll right now, 41-41. But they're a little bit better than that record because that was their record on Monday. In fact, they're actually worse. They're 42-43, but they're still better than the Nats. As I go into a tangent there for some reason, that is your game of the week. Alrighty, now let's dive into the baseball news from the week here, and we're going to start with the All-Star starters. All of them voting have been completed officially down here, and we have our first handful of All-Stars here to go over. Of course, we knew Bryce Harper and Aaron Judge were already in. They were first overall in the first stage of voting, so they got to automatically take over one of the outfield spots in the AL and the NL first base spot. Of course, Harper right now is on the IL. I'm not sure if he'll be able to return in time for the All-Star game, but something to keep in mind for. Everyone else, it was a battle, 1 and 2. You got 2 guys to vote for. Who would you vote for? We know what America, Canada, whoever was in the voting, we know what they did. And we have the starters for the All-Star game set to be in Texas, less than 2 weeks away from that. So, first off, catcher for the AL. We'll go the AL first. Adley Rutschman, it's his second All-Star appearance, his second straight All-Star appearance, might I add that. First baseman, it's Vladimir Guerrero Jr., his 4th All-Star appearance, his 4th straight All-Star appearance. Good stuff there. Second baseman, Jose Altuve, his 9th All-Star appearance. He was not an All-Star last year. 9 for Altuve. Good stuff there. Jose Ramirez is your 3rd baseman. This is going to be his 6th All-Star appearance, and his 4th straight. So good stuff there for Ramirez. Gunnar Henderson wins it in shortstop. It's going to be his 1st appearance as an All-Star. So good stuff there for Gunnar. DH is going to be Yordan Alvarez. It's his 3rd All-Star, his 3rd straight All-Star. So he's been doing it and doing it well. Of course, Aaron Judge, we already mentioned, it's his 6th All-Star appearance and his 4th straight. Juan Soto was an All-Star last year with the Padres. This is going to be his 4th All-Star appearance and his 2nd straight. As I mentioned, he was a All-Star last year with San Diego. And lastly, the last outfielder spot in the AL is going to be Steven Kwan. It's his first All-Star appearance. So Steven Kwan and Gunnar Henderson, those two guys being the first ones. And then Altuve leads it with 9 here. So those are your AL All-Stars for now, the starters at least. And we'll see, all of the reserves and the pitchers that get added on in the following week here. On to the NL side, it's going to be William Contreras behind the dish, catching. It's his 2nd All-Star appearance for him. Bryce Harper, we mentioned, he has had 8 All-Star appearances, but he is on the IL. Ketel Marte at second base, it's his 2nd ever All-Star appearance, so good for him. Third baseman Alec Bohm, it's his first All-Star appearance there. He joins Kwan and Gunnar, these three of course starting, and it's their first one, so good stuff all around. For shortstop, it is going to be Trey Turner, and it's going to be his 3rd ever All-Star appearance. Let's be honest, if Mookie Betts didn't get hurt, it probably would have been him, but it falls Turner's way, and he is going to get his 3rd ever All-Star appearance. DH, it's going to be Shohei Ohtani, of course. It's his 4th All-Star appearance and his 4th straight All-Star appearance, so good stuff there. On to the outfield, Christian Yelich is back as an All-Star. It's his 3rd appearance. Joining him is Fernando Tatis Jr. with his 2nd ever All-Star appearance. And the last one, the story of the year so far, in my opinion, teammates of Tatis, Jurickson Profar will be an All-Star for the first time in his career. And it's been a long career. We talked about Kwan, Gunnar, and Bohm. Those 3 guys being, getting their first chances. Gunnar, this is his 2nd season. Kwan, his 3rd. Bohm, it feels like his 4th season, give or take, really. Let me do a fact check on that one really quickly here. Bohm's been in the league since 2020, so essentially 4 or 5 years for Alec Bohm. But for Jurickson Profar, he has been in the league since 2012. Played 11 years in the big leagues here, and never been an All-Star. So what a story. He's had an incredible season. He's putting up the best numbers of his career ever. So couldn't be more happy for Jurickson Profar. So yeah, those are all the All-Star starters we have so far, 4 of which are making their first ever All-Star appearances. And the guys here the most, Altuve with 9 and Harper with 8, before we get down to Judge Ramirez with 6. So those guys are all starters. Those are our 18 All-Star so far, and we'll only be getting more throughout the coming days here. So good stuff all the way around. Speaking of the coming days here, trade deadline will loom as we enter and go through the month of July, but that doesn't mean trades can't already start happening, as the Tampa Bay Rays are sending Aaron Civale to the Milwaukee Brewers. This makes sense for Milwaukee, and kind of for Tampa. Tampa always has pitching. They always have ways to get around things. And even though Tampa's like 3.5 back of a wild card right now, they got teams like Kansas City and Boston and still ahead of them. There's still hope for the Rays, but do they need Aaron Civale? He's been pretty recently in 2024, a 2-6 record and a 5.07 ERA in 17 starts. He kind of eats innings, and that's kind of what Milwaukee needs. Milwaukee, we talked about how without Brandon Woodruff, without Corbin Burns, how that pitching might look different. It's their offense that's been really good in holding them up to par here. What they need is some more pitching to at least help them, save the bullpen. Aaron Civale, he's not going to give you the greatest outings every day. He could have his starts where he goes out 6 strong and, 3 hits, 1 run, 6 Ks or so. But in the end, it's going to be able to eat innings, save that Brewers bullpen, and that's going to help them out in the long run. I like the trade both ways. Tampa Bay is receiving a shortstop prospect named Gregory Barrios from Milwaukee that will head their way. So yeah, obviously we don't know what Gregory is going to do in his future, but for the Brewers, with the position they're in, to get a guy like Civale, who we've seen in the past, he's had good numbers. He's not been a nobody in his days with Cleveland, of course. Of course, he in 2023, between both teams, he posted a 3.46 ERA last year. That he's actually kind of been pretty bad with Tampa. In 5 years with Cleveland, his ERA has been 3.77, but in the 2 years with Tampa, it's been 5.17. So something to keep an eye out for here as Civale goes to his third MLB team in his career. So we'll have to see how that goes for him. But the trade market will start to get hotter and hotter as the month goes into it. Moving on here, we're just going to talk about other things quickly, jam everything together here. Let's talk about Christian Walker in LA. He's kind of putting up records in Dodger Stadium. This series, he hit 5 home runs in 3 games. He had the 1 home run in the first game, 2 in the second game, and 2 in the third game. He has 7 home runs in his last 5 games at Dodger Stadium. He's been absolutely on fire in Dodger Stadium, which was kind of surprisingly considering how poorly he was in the division series against the Dodgers last year. But Christian Walker in LA is a powerful beast, something to be scared of for sure if you're LA. But yeah, we'll have to see how that is going forward there. Just thought I mentioned that quickly because, it's very rare you see a guy, kind of a rival team, play so well in a rival stadium, but not impossible, but just fun to mention. The Marlins have DFA'd Tim Anderson. This is, for me, a little unfortunate because I do like Tim Anderson. His days with the White Sox in, 2020, 2021, 2022, always very special. But, of course, last year, a huge negative year, and this year nothing better. In 65 games, he has 50 hits, a 214 batting average, and a 463 OPS. He only had 3 extra base hits, all doubles. He's only driven in 9 RBIs, and he has 68 strikeouts, 7 walks. So really nothing to need if you're Miami to be paying him that kind of money. So they have decided to DFA him. Hopefully he ends up somewhere. It'd be really nice to have Tim Anderson in the league still, and hopefully he's able to figure it out. Once a batting title, once a guy who just hit, is now a guy who cannot do none of that. So Tim Anderson will need a new home going forward. And yeah, as mentioned, I think I mentioned it last episode, we got a couple of prospects making some debuts here. First and foremost was James Wood with the Nationals, and then Brooks Lee with the Twins. He got the call and played 2 games this series. He went 3 for 6 in those 2 games with 2 RBIs. So Brooks Lee off to a hot start in his first 2 games as a major leaguer. The top prospect was putting up numbers down there in AAA. A 329 batting average, a 1.029 OPS, 7 home runs, 21 RBIs. In 20 games, he was absolutely on fire and is now with the Major League team. And hopefully he will get a chance to stay with the Major League team. He obviously got called up because of injuries. So we'll have to see going forward what will end up happening to Lee. But for now, 3 hits in your first 2 games, 2 RBIs. You can't complain about that whatsoever. Now looking at the injury updates from the past week here. Blue Jays lose IKF. He heads on the IL with a left knee sprain. Diamondbacks join Montgomery on the IL with a right knee inflammation. Royce Lewis lands on the IL with a right adductor strain. Joey Ortiz from your Brewers, neck inflammation, and then Jared Jones from your Pirates on the IL with a strained lats. Those 5 guys head to the IL, and that is your injury update. Looking at now outstanding performances for the week here. I was about to say, but for the month. Could you imagine? For the week, Cutter Crawford from your Red Sox, 6 innings pitched, 3 hits, an earned run, no walks, and 7 Ks. Nathan Eovaldi, 7 innings pitched, 1 hit, no earned runs, no walks, 6 Ks. Grayson Rodriguez, 6 1/3 innings pitched, 2 hits, no earned runs, 4 walks, 8 Ks. Chris Sale, 6 innings pitched, 3 hits, 1 earned run, 2 walks, 9 Ks. Michael Wacha, 6 innings pitched, 2 hits, 1 earned run, 3 walks, 8 Ks. Colin Ray, 7 innings pitched, 6 hits, no earned runs, no walks, 4 Ks. Dean Creamer, back with Baltimore, 5 innings pitched, 2 hits, no earned runs, 2 walks, 8 Ks. His first start since May the 20th. Joey Estes, Oakland A's, complete game shutout, 9 innings pitched, 5 hits, no earned runs, a walk, and 4 Ks. Sorry for your pronunciation of your name. I will learn it next time. Jose Quintana, 7 innings pitched, 4 hits, no earned runs, 3 walks, and a strikeout. Jake Irvin, he shoved on July 4th. 8 innings pitched, only 1 hit, no earned runs, 1 walk, and 8 Ks. An absolute gem of an outing. And then Nick Pivetta rounds this list off. 7 innings pitched, a hit, no earned runs, 2 walks, and 10 Ks for your outstanding performances. We now look on over to our stat leaderboard. And a couple changes here. Stephen Kwan has graduated and he is officially a qualified player, which means he now leads the league in average with 367. Good for him. Luis Arias still holding off to the hits with 114. Aaron Judge with home runs, 32. Aaron Judge with RBIs, 83. Gunnar Henderson with runs, 75. Juan Soto with walks, 75. Ellie De La Cruz, stolen bases, still 42. Aaron Judge still leads the league in OPS with a 1.135. So higher numbers, the only change being Kwan for the average. For pitchers, it was Seth Lugo, Chris Sale, and Ranger Suarez all tied for 10. Now it's Seth Lugo and Chris Sale tied for 11. Ranger Suarez still at 10 there. ERA, new leader, no longer Ronaldo Lopez. It is Seth Lugo, a 2.17. It hasn't been the first time he's led in ERA. He is back to leading the league in ERA. Garrett Crochet, the new leader in strikeouts, passing Tyler Glass now, 141 for him. And then Ryan Helsley still leading the league in saves with 31. I believe he's on pace for about 59 to like 62. So keep it up, Ryan Helsley. A strong season for him inbound right now currently. So good stuff all the way around. As we now take a look at the upcoming series for the weekend here. Going off things, Red Sox and Yankees, the rivalry is how we'll lead things off. Then we have the Giants in Cleveland taking on the Guardians, Astros at Twins, Oilers at A's, Rays at Rangers, Blue Jays at Mariners, White Sox at Marlins, Phillies at Braves. That's a big series, Atlanta. You're hosting the Phillies. Come away with 2 of 3 at the minimum. Cardinals at Nationals, Mets at Pirates, that one's fun. Tigers and Reds, Angels and Cubs, Brewers at Dodgers, D-backs at Padres. That's a fun one too, I think. And we round things off with the Royals in Colorado taking on the Rockies for the series this weekend. As we'll now take a look at the playoff predictor if the postseason started today. As we mentioned earlier, it is no longer the Royals. It's the first time they're out of a playoff spot since the beginning of the season. It's the Red Sox now holding that the 6th seed as they take on the Mariners in the 3 seed. Seattle wins it though. Twins and Yankees for the other wildcard series. Yankees win it. So our division series is Yankees at Guardians, Mariners at Oilers. It is the Yankees and the Orioles that move on there as they head for the championship series, in which the Oilers win that one and head to another World Series. NL side of things, the Cardinals taking on the Brewers, Padres at Braves. It's the Cardinals that upset the Brewers. The Braves, though, beat the Padres. So we have a Cardinals and Dodgers Braves and Phillies division series. We're giving it to the Braves. We're giving it to the Dodgers. Braves and Dodgers NLCS, a matchup people thought were destined for at the start of the season. Dodgers beat the Braves, which means we have a World Series of the Los Angeles Dodgers and the Baltimore Orioles, and it would be your Los Angeles Dodgers who win it, and it would be your 2024 World Series champions, as that will do it for us here today. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you everybody so much for listening to this episode. A little bit more of a fulfilling episode. We got the All-Star starters, the players of the month, and things are looming. Home Run Derby talk, All-Star talk, trade deadline talk, and then after that, when we hit August, it's that postseason push, the dog days of summer, and we'll start talking about teams who are in it, teams who aren't. We'll be talking about a little bit less. We're over the hump of the season. It's kind of just like a slide now to the postseason, so get excited for that. I appreciate you all. Thank you, everybody, so much. Enjoy your weekend, and I will see you on Monday.